This is being called one of NATO's most important summits since the Cold War. Now NATO's Cold War rival Russia is warning of a new confrontation, even as the Kremlin urges peace in eastern Ukraine. CCTV's Tom Barton has that story.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has often accused NATO, and in particular the US, of meddling in Ukraine. On Thursday, he repeated those claims just before NATO's summit in Wales began.
Some of our Western partners, unfortunately including the most influential player, the United States, want victory for NATO and a situation where America is dictating its own will to everyone.
Kiev, the EU, NATO and Western governments have often made precisely the same accusation of Russia, and more lately that it has sent its own troops into Ukraine to fight alongside the militants it has been arming and training, which Russia denies. A senior Russian general says that it is necessary to establish the conditions under which Russia could carry out a preemptive strike using its nuclear weapons, and that, in our view, our primary enemy is the US and the North Atlantic bloc. Russian officials blame NATO for the growing tensions, for accepting Eastern European countries into the alliance, and saying NATO leaders have a policy of aggravating Russia.
The situation in Ukraine isn't about Russia's actions. It's about Russia's reaction to NATO's actions for decades.
Russia has announced more military exercises, setting its armed forces on more of a war footing. And there are questions around the world now about how far the Kremlin is prepared to go to maintain power over what it calls its sphere of influence, with Russian President Vladimir Putin reportedly telling the outgoing European Commission president, "If I want to, I can take Kiev in 2 weeks." Tom Barton, CCTV, Moscow.